Hello, friends. Welcome aboard the Round Trip Stories podcast, where we share stories of moving around the world and back again, reflecting on the lessons we've learned along the way. My name is Melissa.
And my name is Tracy, and we are so glad you're joining us for today's episode. Welcome back to part 2 of our interview with Maïa Talabard, a third culture kid from France who is a university business school student, artist, cheerleader, and travel lover. In this episode, Maïa shares about her return to France during middle school and the people who made her transition a little easier. She also shares about how her experience as a TCK continues to influence her life now. So buckle your seatbelts and make sure your tray tables and seats are in their upright positions as part 2 of Maia's round trip story gets ready for takeoff. Okay, we are back for part 2 of our interview with Maïa Talabard. And she is a university student in France who has a great third culture kids story. So reminder that we're doing a series on third culture kids who have spent a part of their childhood living overseas. So Maïa, thanks for being with us. And please remind us where you lived abroad and how long you were there.
So I lived abroad 3 years in Korea and 3 years in China. I came back from Seoul in 2011 or 12, and we left for China in 2012 or 13.
And then you had explained that you went with your family because your dad was working for a French company.
Mhm.
And so why did you all come back to France?
So we came back to France because it was set that we had to only stay at that place for 3 years each. So it was already prepared that we would come back.
Okay. And then where did you come back to?
So I came back to my hometown, and we came back to the house I always lived in when I was a kid that was rented when we lived abroad. So yeah, so near Paris.
Near Paris. Okay. And then when you came back to France, what did you do? And tell us a little bit about what you're doing now.
So when we moved back, it was 2016, and I was in middle school at that time. Well, I was in 8th grade when I came back. And I did the rest of my scolarities until now in France. I did it in the region where I lived, and now I just recently moved to Lille since, actually almost 3 years now, but it's more recent.
And tell us what you're studying.
Oh, so I'm studying at a business school, and I'm specialized this year in international marketing because I'm trying to study marketing, and I really want to work in that later. But I also really have that ambition to be able to work internationally, whether it is in a company that it really is really open to the outside, or just living abroad, because I think that having had that experience as a third culture kid, and since they were just such great experiences, I just want to live them again, but in a different way, because with work and with doing something that is special to me.
We want to hear a little bit about your repatriation process. So tell us a story about your re-entry transition back to life in France.
So I think maybe the retransition part was mostly maybe about coming back to my just everyday life. So to me, I think that it was a good thing that I came back and was still in maybe my early years of school, because this, I think, is the period that it's most easy to adapt to. And I think that, well, having lived abroad at my age also, it was kind of hard to keep connections because social media wasn't a huge thing. And also I was younger, so I really didn't have the opportunity to keep the friendships that I had before. So
Yeah.
some people, when I came back, I still could talk with, and we're still sort of my friends because our families are friends. But most of the people that I came back to were just a bit different from me, and I just didn't necessarily connect that much with. So I made new friends. And so actually, my feeling about that was that it was actually kind of easy, because I think that having lived that experience 3 times before, when it was in Korea, then coming back to France, and then going back to China, I think that I kind of got used to it. It's always stressful. You're never really prepared for that when you come back to school in a completely new environment with new people, and you're the new girl, and you're just having to have that label for a couple months before you really find some people that you match with. But I feel like I had the chance to find people that I really connected with, and that were really good friends to me at that time. And I'm happy about that. So my retransition, I think, was okay. Yeah.
That's good. And I think you're right. When you move to different places, it does give you practice making new friends in a way that people who don't ever have to move and start over don't. Because there are some skills involved. Some people may just make friends naturally, but there are still things that you can do that can make it easier. And so when you've practiced that, it helps.
I think I was always more of maybe a bit of a shy kid, or more reserved, I guess. But I think that actually having had that experience of living elsewhere really helped me with being more easygoing, I guess, and having a less hard of a time to talk to people, and going towards people that I feel I could get along with. So I think that helped me growing up.
So tell us a story about something that was difficult or challenging about moving back to France.
So something that I didn't anticipate at all was the fact that in China, at the school I was in, it was an international school. And it was a school where it was very, very easy to grow, easy to talk, easy to everything. You had a really, really close proximity with like the teachers and with everyone. You could talk to anyone, or at least I saw that there weren't any issues about popularity. I feel like it was really a safe place, really a safe environment, and really healthy environment. And when I arrived in France, actually the system is kind of different, and you can really tell a difference. Well, first of all, in hierarchy with like the teachers, and then the personnel of the school, and then the students. It's really not the same thing, which I kind of already knew was the case, but it hit me. And more specifically, the relationships of all the students, it was very different, because you definitely couldn't talk with people that were like 2 grades above you, or it was a bit harder to be friends with them. But also something that I really got to understand quite quickly, but I didn't really anticipate, was the fact that in China we had uniforms, and arriving in France, we didn't. And trendiness and having the cool things was really a big part of having social interactions, and something that people really, really talk about, and social media as well. And all of that I wasn't familiar with. I've always been kind of girly and interested in fashion, and since I was a kid, but not that deeply, and not that not that much. But I really got into it coming back, because I think at first it was kind of hard to adapt to those standards. So I think that was just one thing that was a bit complicated, but I think I adapted quite quickly.
Sure. It totally makes sense that that would be an adjustment to get used to. But also, I can see that that would be something that would not be on the list of adjustments that you are anticipating. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Tell us about what helped with your transition then, or anything that has been helpful since then.
Yeah, so what has really been helpful for me was, first of all, my family, because they are very present. And I feel like my parents really were great to my brother and I through all of it, because we were kind of scared to go live abroad and having to come back and just leaving everything and then coming back again. It was scary for us. And actually, I think they made all the right choices and they did a great job at reassuring us. And I think they were there and they were great at it. But something that also really, really helped me and kept me happy was keeping in touch with my friends from China that I met there, because my dad is part of a company that sent a couple French families to China and to Korea as well. So I made French friends in China, which I still currently talk to and see quite regularly. And so it's something that was really, really important to me. And we all live in the same area. So it's something that was very precious to me, because it really kept that link between my time there and my time here. And it really helped me just also have people to talk to that really understood me. And they are really my very, very, very close friends. And they are friendships that I cherish, because we have that connection. We have lived things together that most people don't. And so that's something that was a rock for me during that transition, for sure.
Yeah. So did they move at the same time that you did?
So we're on the same timeline, approximately. And some of them were actually with us all the time. So it's just kind of mixed up, but still around the same timeline.
That's so special. And then one of those families was also with you in Korea also,
yes,
right?
the Bernard. Yeah. We met them in Korea for the first time, because our first year there was their last year there. So it was in 2009. Such a long time ago.
So your family has friends that you knew in Korea, and then you also lived in China at the same time, and now you're back in France at the same time.
Exactly.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is a really special thing, to have people outside of just your immediate family that know all of your different worlds.
Yes.
And kind of like how you were talking at the very beginning of the first part of your interview about how it felt like you had these different lives. So to have people that know all of your different parts of your lives.
Yeah.
What an amazing thing.
Yes. They also have the same view, and they also have all those different lives. And I think that we lived the same things, and we just connect through all of that. So
Yeah. It's almost like they're your cousins or aunts and uncles, right?
Yeah.
Because
yes.
when we go overseas, we don't have our extended family with us. And so the people around us, the expats around us, or whoever, become an extended family. And you had that in many places. And it's so wonderful that you live close by.
When we're at each other's house, I feel like we're at family house. We're just, like you said, almost like extended family. It's just so easy to be around them.
So our next question is actually what we call our choose your own adventure questions. So you get to answer one of these three questions. So one, how often do you think about being or having been a TCK, and how much does that affect your life now? Or two, what are some of your favorite experiences of connecting with other TCKs, which I feel like you kind of just talked about that? Or three, do you have a favorite funny story about your time in any of those countries or your transition back? So which one of those do you think you want to answer?
I think that maybe I can answer the third one.
Okay, the funny story.
Yeah.
Okay.
We like funny stories.
Yes. Yes. So tell us a funny story.
So, well, actually, there are many, many funny stories of that we had living abroad, like so much. I think they're countless. So it's really hard to choose. Um, but well, we made really, really great friends in China. Let's talk about China. Um, and we traveled a lot with them, whether it was in China or out of China. And so one of those trips, well, we actually did with the Bernard family that I talked about earlier. We went to Australia. So a crazy trip, and I think one of the best trips I ever did in my entire life. And so we decided to do the Great Ocean Road in camping cars and like these big vans, and it was so 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 much fun. And so one very very funny moment that I always think back to is when Catil and I, my friend and I, um, were sleeping together in the um, upper compartment of the camping cars, like on top of the driver's area. So it was a really small space, but with a small bed, and the roof was really close to our faces.
Yes, close to your faces, right?
Yes, and we had to. So we were there, and then the other part of the family was sleeping at the far end of the camping car. And I remember that the roof of the camping car was really really close to our faces, and we were just talking and just having fun, staying kind of up before sleeping. And I don't remember which one of us it was, but one of us banged our heads on the top of the roof. And the thing is, everyone was sleeping, so we had to stay quiet. And so we just had to contain our laughters. And it was just so, so, so funny because we just couldn't stop laughing. So it was, that silent laugh that you just can't contain, but you have to. And since you have to contain it, you even want to laugh even harder.
Right.
So I think that's a really, really fun memory for me. And that trip was, I think, overall really, really fun. Like my brother fell in the water at a beach area, and it was just such a great moment, such great memories. Like we did so much stuff with them. We went in the hot springs. We did so many things, and this really brings me back to my time in China because this is what I link it to. It's all the memories that I got to have thanks to having went there, and I think that was such a chance. So yeah, that's
Yeah. What an amazing opportunity. Oh, that's fun. Those are fun memories.
Yeah. I like how you just said that because you went to China, your family went to China, you have all of these amazing memories. And those decisions to take your family abroad aren't easy decisions, and they contain risk. And as parents, we think, oh, what if this, what if that? But there's this great opportunity. And we can see if, as a result, you, as a third culture kid, have all these wonderful memories, especially of traveling, of not just with your family, but with the people that you met. So thanks for sharing that with us.
It's a bit of a random story, but I just thought about that.
Well, and these adventures that our families provide us just create bonds. And it keeps us together in the long run too, because we can always pull up one of these funny stories, and those stories create bonds. All right. Well, speaking of parents, so we're gonna have our last questions for this portion of our interview. What are some things you wish your parents would have realized or known?
Well, actually, when I was thinking about how to answer that question, I just couldn't think of anything. To me, my parents did what they had to. because thinking back, I was really mad at them for forcing us to leave. It was the time where we came back to France after Seoul, Korea, and we had just 1 year in France. And during that year, I made new friends. I had a new life. I had a pet rabbit, and I was just I finally found my place again. And then our parents just announced us that we would be moving to China in an international school where people would speak English. And it was really, really upsetting for us having to leave everything behind again. So at that time, we were kind of angry. Well, at least I was upset. But thinking back, they made the right choice. And I think that they handled it pretty well because they were just honest about it. They kept us in the loop, sort of, even if they already had taken their decision without us, which is kind of obvious because we were too young to have an opinion. But in the end, when we moved there, I think they protected us in just the right ways. They also left us our not independence, I'd say, but they adapted to where we were. For, like I said, in Korea, we could just run down the streets and it was fine. And in China, well, it was a bit more, it was a bit different, but it was still fine. And I think that I feel like there's nothing they could have known or realized before that would have made the experience better for us, or at least for me, because to me, I don't think I would change anything. Actually, I think they did
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think they did a great job.
Yeah. So when you were back in France in between Korea and China, once they decided and told you that you were going to move again, how much time was it before that move happened? Do you remember?
I don't remember really well. I think it was just a couple months before. I don't think there was a plan to move again, but I think it just happened. I think my dad got a nice offer he was interested about. He asked my mom if she was willing to move again. I guess she was. And they decided, and then they told us. So I think it was maybe there were like 8 months. And then they told us, and then there was just like a couple months this summer, and then we just left.
So your parents were flexible, willing to take this adventure, even though it was a little bit risky. But, and I know your parents have both lived in different countries. Your dad was born in Mexico and moved to France.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so they enjoy a good adventure and appreciate that.
Yeah, I'd say they're adventurous people.
Well, tell us a final story about how your time abroad continues to add value to your life now.
Well, I think that my time abroad really brought me that curiosity for just outside world and actually not being afraid to go far away and be open to it. And it actually brings me a lot because I had the opportunity recently to go back to Korea, to Seoul. And I think that that's something that I had the, well, not the guts, but I mean,
the passion.
Just to do it and just not worry about how hard it would be. And just, I think I always try to see the positive things because I have learned from experience that even if things can be scary, it's always going to be beneficial and it's always going to be such a great experience because just going somewhere else will always bring you things that you can look back to and be nostalgic about and just wish you would go back to. And so I really, really wanted to do that. And so I think that's what it brought me. Like, for example, also wanting to work abroad. And I think it really, really helped me open up to the world. And so that's precious to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. It does make us more open. And then you want more. And then you want more. I feel like that's how it went for me too.
Yeah. Never have enough.
Yeah. All right, Maïa, this is our last question. So tell us, one last word of encouragement you can give to our listeners, whether they be third culture kids like yourself adjusting back or the parents of third culture kids, what would you say to them?
Or people who are thinking about moving their families to another place. I mean, it could be anything.
Yes.
Well, if you're a parent and you have kids and you're working and you're considering going abroad, I say do it because it will be the best experience, whether it is for you, your family, or your kids. If you're worried about them adjusting, they will. They will find their place and it will really build their personality and their confidence. So it's just the best experience to gift them. And if just like me, you are about to live abroad, just know that it will be the best experience of your life. You will always remember it, and you have to trust that it will be fine, even if it seems scary, and that readjusting back will be fine too, because it's a place that you grew up in and that when you come back won't have changed that much. And you will be able to find new ways to reconnect to that place. And so it will all, in the end, result in positive things, and it will bring so much joy and so much memories. So I think it's the best thing that can happen to someone.
Amen. Thank you, Maïa.
Good.
Yes, that's very encouraging. Even when we're counting our costs, right? We're counting our costs like, oh, what will happen if we take our family? What will happen if I choose to leave a job that for another place? Or what will happen if I choose to take a year off of university and study somewhere else? And yeah, we can always come back.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Thank you, Maïa.
Thanks so much, Maïa, for taking time to talk with us and share these stories.
It was such a pleasure. You're great people. It was so fun to talk with you guys.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Thanks, Maïa.
As we land this interview, we hope that you have been inspired by Maïa's TCK stories. She is deeply grateful to her parents for saying yes to the jobs and risks that took her and her brother abroad during their elementary school years. Maïa chose her own university studies in the hopes that they will give her more international experiences, and she already has returned to Korea for a semester abroad. Maïa encourages any family who is considering working abroad to just do it. No matter what leg of the journey you are on or where in the world you're listening from, friends, we are so glad you have brought us along with you.
Come back next time to hear from our next guest, third culture kid Justin Lau, a worship leader and writer based in London. He is originally from Singapore, grew up in Japan as a missionary kid, and then returned to Singapore after high school for military service. You won't want to miss Justin's round-trip stories.
If you're enjoying our podcast, we'd love it if you would leave us a review in your podcast app. And don't forget, you can visit our website at roundtripstories.com to see photos of our guests and to join our email list. And of course, tell your friends to travel the world with us. No passport, no packing, and no goodbyes required. Thanks so much for listening, friends. We'll see you next time.